It is 6:05. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I've got all 5 commissioners. I've got Mike Pruitt, our counselor, handy. So I think we'll go ahead and start. We have a total of, let's see how many participants now. We have 11 folks with us tonight, 9 via video. I have Jennifer Ivey and Captain Brennan Baird with us here in person. I have Rhonda as clerk. So we'll get started. Our first item is going to be the approval of our, we have 2 sets of minutes. I believe everybody was present. August 31st, 2020 was a regular business meeting. And then on September 14th, 2020 was the agenda setting. So with that, you all have copies of our minutes, and I'll open the floor for to entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Doster. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second, Commissioner Bettis. Are there any questions, comments from those at all? Okay, not hearing or seeing any. Commissioner Allen, we'll start with you. I don't have audio, Commissioner Allen. Is that a thumbs up? I got a thumbs up. Okay. Commissioner Strickland.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Kirk.
He waved his hand.
Yeah.
Did he? Okay. And
Yes.
that's it. And the Commissioner Doster. So we're good there. Thank you all. Listen, technology is a challenge. I vow never to make fun of anybody. If I ever have, I apologize, because this is it's difficult. Ms. Gina Ward is joining us.
Can you hear me now, Chairman?
I got you loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
It
you.
was my headset.
Okay, good enough. We're good. All right. So at this time, I have Ms. Jennifer Ivey, who's going to come forward with a report, and I'd ask that you pay special attention. She has a request for us this evening that we might take up in our next phase, the chairman's report. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jennifer. Come on up.
Thank you.
Right there.
Okay.
And Jennifer, you're standing there.
Mhm.
Just make sure this is the mic here that's going to pick you up.
Oh, okay.
And it'll pick you up, but if you wanted to drop
Yeah, I was
that,
gonna take this.
there
off
you go.
for my speaking role. Okay.
Chairman, I can't hear you.
I can't hear either.
I can't hear.
Let's see here.
I can't hear either.
Hear me? I might be too far away.
I'll take it.
No, usually hear people. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I got it.
No.
Hang on one
I mean,
second.
they can hear me.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay, I think they heard me that time.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to hit the high notes from the last 2 quarters. In April, the building was closed to the public, but we did host a blood drive in a partnership with the Red Cross because we felt there was a community need for blood at the time. So we did that in April. In May, we had a census Q&A via Facebook Live. So I learned lots of new skills that day. But that was, we had our local census rep there on Facebook Live with us, and she answered questions about the census. Our adult book club is meeting virtually now via Google Meets, and the people who are coming are happy that we're still able to have a book club, so at least we have that. On May 27th, we began curbside service. So people can put items on hold and pick them up at our front door by calling the library when they get there. That's been well received. In June, we began printing via email. So people can email us what they want to have printed and then pick it up at curbside and pay that way since they can't get in to use a computer. And then in July, we extended curbside hours to include nights and one weekend so that people have more opportunity to use the library. And in August, we began taking computer appointments. So people can sign up to use a computer for an hour. So we're letting people in the building. They make their appointment, they use the computer, they have access to the printer, the copy machine. We also fax and laminate, that's during curbside, and I forgot to mention that. So as you can see, a lot has changed very quickly. Staff and patrons alike have had to adapt to all the changes. And I just want to say that both staff and patrons have been phenomenal. But it's been a lot of changes and a lot of new skill sets being learned very quickly as we try to change to a virtual programming. So we're still not doing any in-house programming. We will open to the public Wednesday. So Wednesdays through Fridays will be open from 2 to 6. That's in your October newsletter, which is, Rhonda has those, sorry. These will be 1 hour visits, a limited capacity of people to keep from having crowds, basically. Computers will not be available during this time. The computer appointment times will still be the only times people can use a computer. But we will be able to allow people back into the stacks to pick their own books. So we did have summer reading. It was different. It was done through an app. So we didn't get a lot of interest in that, but we did hand out prizes at the end of summer. So, and other last quarter news, I applied to the Appalachian Leadership Institute back in the spring. And this is an initiative of the Appalachian Regional Commission, and it's for community organizers or community workers and leaders in their fields in Appalachia, which is 420 counties, to just network and learn other leadership stuff. And I found out earlier this month that I was selected as one of 40 fellows for the 2020-2021 class. This is not being officially announced by the Appalachian Regional Commission until tomorrow.
Okay.
So y'all are getting a little extra, but I trust that y'all won't say anything until they send out the official press release. So I will have that for Zach very soon.
Congratulations.
So thank you. And now I will just go on to the very best thing. I'm saving the best for last. So I would like to ask for approval to install Peggy Terrell on our library board. She would be replacing Victor Johnson, whose term has expired. And if y'all don't know Peggy, she wasn't able to be here tonight, but she is a retired educator. She's been a library patron for a long time, so I've known her for a long time. She really loves the library. She supports the library. She's a member of the Friends. She's passionate about literacy, particularly early literacy from her time in the school system. And I think that she will be a great addition to our board. So when y'all have a chance to vote to approve that, that's what I'm asking for tonight. Do y'all have any questions about my report or anything else?
Any questions for Jennifer at all?
I have a compliment. My wife has gone on and on about how well y'all are handling things
Well, thank you.
and how easy you made everything with a curbside pickup. She may not want to go back to the regular library. I don't know, with 3 kids in the car, that's been pretty nice.
I think we're keeping that forever.
Oh, good.
I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
And for those of you that may or may not know, Madison County is just one of the few counties in this region that actually belongs to the ARC.
Yeah. I was
So,
surprised.
Yeah, so that's excellent. Everybody has their mottos these days. Mine is, if it's free, it's for me. So I appreciate anybody going out there looking for grants and for
Yes,
those opportunities.
I
So
love grants.
that's huge.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jennifer. All righty, y'all.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kirk. All right. With that, we'll move on to the chairman's report. I have two items I want to mention real quick, and then we'll come back to Jennifer's request here for consideration. And her request, I know it wasn't on our agenda, but in these days and times when we have we need to be as fluid as possible. Being dynamic. I like dynamic, a good word. Things change pretty quick. So we'll try to roll and adapt and accommodate as much as we can. We'll pick that up here in just a second. I'd like to remind everybody to please let anybody and everybody you know, make them aware of two opportunities that are coming up. Free tire disposal. I know this may, many of us, when we have our tires changed out, your dealership or whoever, they may take that. They may take care of it and charge you $2, $5, whatever the fee is. I'm here to tell you there are a lot of people that don't pay that fee that are looking for alternatives. And rather than have them on our roads, our dirt roads especially, I'd encourage you to let everybody know that the whole month of October is, drop them off. They can take up to 10 tires per citizen. And yeah, I know it's a public meeting, I'll say it, but tell them to get with their relatives if they got more than 10, and we'll be legal, but we're going to be we're going to try to take advantage of this opportunity. So that's tire amnesty at our transfer station. Same hours, Wednesday. Well, actually, that's not true. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Please appreciate that our inmates, that our sheriff has allowed an inmate detail that actually provides the labor for a lot of that. So that's actually weekdays, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And it does not extend to businesses, but please let your friends and family know about that. The other freebie, as it were, for the citizens in the county is a recycling opportunity for those that have been cleaning out and wanting to know what to do with all those personal documents. We have a recycling event on Saturday, November 7th. It's an opportunity. It's a 2-hour event here at the complex. They will come out and they have a truck that parks out front. And for those that are concerned, and I know many are, about handing over personal documents and anything with their vital information on it, this vehicle has the opportunity, sorry y'all, just letting people in here. You're able to monitor on site the shredding of the documents that go into that truck. So for anybody, and this is for pharmaceuticals, drugs, used syringes, batteries, anything that's recyclable, we will take that here at the government complex from 10 to noon, November 7th. We pay the service. There is no maximum. Please use that and take advantage of it. All right. Last item then is if the board will allow the latitude, I would like to entertain a motion to approve Ms. Peggy Terrell as a replacement for Victor Johnson on our library board. And with that, I'll open the floor for a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
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 I have a motion and a second. I got a commissioner. You got it?
Madison is a second.
Hey, Lee, she just barely edged you out as a second. Sorry. So
She has better service.
yeah, she must be on charter. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Well, I have a motion and a second. If there's any discussion, we'll talk about it afterwards. And with that, I'll open the floor for a vote. Commissioner Strickland?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Kirk?
He's got a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Commissioner Doster?
Yes.
And
And
Yes.
Commissioner Allen? Thank you all.
Thank you.
We shall overcome here. All right.
As a point of order, can you remind us how long that term is, just for the public?
Ooh,
How long they serve? Is it 3 years?
I think it's 4.
I think it's 4.
Is it 4?
Yeah, I think it's 4 years.
And we do have that information. So,
I just,
Yeah, I can also get it to you
okay.
tomorrow.
it was just kind of for clarity.
Okay. Yep. And we sure appreciate people's participation on that too.
Yes.
All right. At this point, we'll open the floor up for statements and remarks. We have, effectively, we have 3 agenda items tonight. We have considering approving a proclamation naming October 5th through 11th, 2020 Mental Health Awareness Week. We also have consider our 2021 ILMIC projects. And the last item is to consider approving an updated speed zone ordinance. And each of you should have a copy of those. So our commissioners, so if anybody would like to speak on those 3 items, we'll open the floor up for comments. Not seeing anybody here. Okay. All right. With that, we'll get into the business portion of our meeting. Our first is to consider approving a proclamation. And again, I'm going to ask for a little latitude. I put everything in order so I'd be ready to do it, and I moved it out of order. So give me a second here. Oh my goodness. I know I had it. Thank you. All right. And if you will, this is short and I would like to read it because I think it's important. It's actually, it seems to be more and more important as, you know, with personal circumstances being what they are. I understand with COVID-19 and we have a political climate, sometimes it's challenging. People have ongoing issues and sometimes they get buried, they get lost in all this. So I would like to read this. Again, a proclamation, Mental Health Awareness Week, October 5th through 11th, 2020. Whereas mental health is part of overall health. And 1 in 5 adults experiences a mental health issue, a health problem in any given year. That's 1 in 5. And 1 in 17 adults live with mental illness such as major depression, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia. And approximately 1/2 of chronic mental illness begins at the age of 14, at least by the age of 14, and 3/4 by the age of 24. Long delays, sometimes decades, often occur between the time symptoms first appear and when individuals get help. Early identification and treatment can make a difference in successful management of mental illness and recovery. It is important to maintain mental health and learn the symptoms of mental illness in order to get help when it's needed. Every citizen and community can make a difference in helping in the silence and stigma that for too long has surrounded mental illness and discouraged people from getting help. In public education, civic activities can encourage mental health and help improve the lives of individuals and families affected by mental illness. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Madison County, Georgia, do hereby proclaim October 5th through October 11th, 2020 as Mental Health Awareness Week in Madison County to increase public understanding of the importance of mental health to promote identification and treatment of mental illness. So resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on this 28th day of September 2020. I think that says it all. With that, I'd ask for a motion and second to approve the proclamation declaring this week Mental Health Awareness Week.
So
I'd like
moved.
to make that motion, or the second, doesn't matter.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments to add to that? If not, the vote is to Commissioner Bettis.
Yes.
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 Thank you all. Thank you all. Our next agenda item is we loosely on our agenda, we call it 2021 LMIG projects. We all know these to be road improvement projects using our LMIG funds. We have to provide a list this year. We looked at a bunch of roads. Some of the commissioners have provided inputs. There is a list that was provided to each of you. And if the board desires, I can provide a prioritized list from our public works director, our road superintendent, and I loosely put in my recommendation, but it did not change theirs at all. So I would ask for since this is a vote actually to approve the list and the extent of the work to be done, what I might suggest is that if a commissioner has a recommendation on the prioritization, that's fine. If you would prefer me to offer you their recommendation, I can do that. And then if you choose to vote on that ranking, that would be fine too. But I would open the floor a little bit for a comment or discussion from the commissioners on this.
But Chairman, I would like to hear the prioritized list that they had, where they were trying to go and what the amount was. I know at one point that we were talking 1.4, maybe we're somewhere right around in there. So I was just curious what their prioritization is, because I obviously have mine, and I've ridden most of these roads, gotten to ride most of these roads. But if you had that would really help me moving forward in this discussion.
I'd be happy to do that. For the record, there was a road or two that some of the commissioners asked to be considered in addition to this list. One that does not appear on your list was Aaron Brown Road. For those of you that may not be familiar with that, that is up at the Franklin County line. It is, if you are familiar with the Camp Little Light area, that's where that is. It's a road that's 0.8 of a mile. It is a dead end road. And then we also had a suggestion to consider, again, in addition to those you have in front of you, Fortson Compton Road. And as you'll recall, that is the road that joins Highway 98 and Highway 172. That is the road that goes by the middle school, and it is approximately 1 mile long. So the Public Works Director, Road Superintendent, they have looked at these roads, and while we do have, we don't have a shortage of projects in this county, there's no doubt about that. They suggest, and I'll go slow if you want to mark these as they presented them. They've suggested that Timberlane Road be the first road that they would do. Their second and third are combined, and that's Kellogg Drive and West Kellogg Drive. And I will total these up for you, Commissioner Allen, in this order. The fourth road is Swamp Guinea Road. So already in those first four roads, I'll highlight that 3 of those 4 are dead-end roads. But it's important to know that those roads typically get passed over because they're not connecting roads. And they have basically decayed and entered into a state that really needs some attention according to them. 5th road was Booger Hill Road. The 6th road was Bishop Carey Road. The next road was Old Ginn Road. It is about 3/10 of a mile, tar and gravel road. The next road was Pine Valley Farm Road. Pine Valley Farm Road, of note here, is a road that actually joins the city limits of Comer. And if the board were to choose to do that, I would notify the mayor there and ask if it would be their desire to join in on that project. The next road was Forest Lane. Adams Clark Road was the next. Nice Commerce Road was next. Lim Edwards Road. And then the last 2 were at the feed mill in Carlton, and that's Russell Road and Cooper Road. Now these were from the original list, and you have the other 2, Aaron Brown and Fortson Compton. In the order that I just presented, though, I will tell you that and you have the individual costs of those roads, but I will tell you that if you go through the first 9 roads on that list to include Forest Lane would be number 9. The total cost at that point is just a little over $1.4 million. And that's a total of almost 12.5 miles.
Chairman, excuse me, but did I miss Lim Edwards? I apologize. I was trying to write down.
Lim Edwards was
Number 12.
number 12.
Number 12. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I didn't have the other 2, but I will tell you, I'm very familiar. I can't speak for Derek or Alan. Aaron Brown Road is again 0.8 of a mile long. It's in the Harrison district. It is a triple surface road, and it would cost approximately $65,000 to resurface. And the other road that was mentioned, Forts and Compton Road, is a mile long. And it would be a resurfaced road at a cost of right at $128,000. And that's for your consideration. So again, for whatever roads you choose, whether they're on this list or not, those not chosen, I would suggest would be a very good starting conversation for the next round of roads to be considered. There were a couple in here, just as we've discussed. Lim Edwards perhaps will need, because of the right-of-way on that road, the right-of-way is wider than the paved surface is. And some of the issues on Lim Edwards are the edges, the trees, the ditches there. And it would be, it was the recommendation that the county actually address some of that before they consider resurfacing. They actually do need to remove some trees and address some pipe issues on that road before they go back and resurface that road. And that was the only reason it was moved down on the list. So, and it is a resurface project at about $315,000.
I will say this, Chairman, the more we pave now, the cheaper it's going to be now than it is next year and the next year, that kind of thing. So, if we can be smart about it. And, Booger Hill, 1 through 6, I've ridden, and I believe all of them, they definitely need to be paved. There's grass growing up on Booger Hill Road, especially on the Moons Grove end. We've been really good since I've been in office about taking these in priority and going down the list. And each year it seems like we knock them off. I think that it's really moving in a good direction doing that. And so, if we can get the top 9, I'm going to be a little biased and try to get number 10 in there too with Adams Park. Just to be completely honest, and that gets you around 1.6 million, a little bit more. And so I don't know. Like I said, I really want to stick with this priority because it seems like it's really what needs to be done. We keep moving in a good direction. So I'd like to hear what the other board members have to say, though.
I appreciate you bringing that up, Lee. Booger Hill Road's falling apart. And that Timberlane Road, I'm glad we got it first on the list because that's terrible up there. Those people have been complaining for quite a while, and hopefully we can take care of that.
I mean, I'm fine with moving forward with the recommendation of our professional staff. And, I guess I'd probably recommend the 1 through 9 and then see what the prices come in. I agree, like on Lim Edwards, if we need to address non-paving issues first to make that more appropriate for work at a later date. I think an estimated $1.4 million, and then we see what unforeseen conditions that may bring. Then we may be able to get through half of them and then see if we can add a little bit more to it as we move forward.
This has got to be turned in February, Chairman?
Right.
By February, is that right?
Right.
Okay.
They're asking, DOT would love to have it. They would love to have
I'm
it
sure.
by the end of November. So.
Okay.
And a point that was just brought up, and I did fail to mention that, is this amount, those first 9 do actually represent about half of the total cost of those that were presented to you. So right at $3 million for not just these, but the last 2 that were mentioned, Aaron Brown and Forts and Compton, should they be included too. One last note, and I don't want to belabor this, but Russell Road and Cooper Road, you might notice they didn't have a description of work or a cost. These 2 roads both of them service the feed mill down in Carlton. Cooper Road actually comes off of Highway 72 and directly services the feed mill. Russell Road is a crossing road. Both of these roads are in relatively good shape, except when they were paved, there's an issue, and it's very noticeable if you drive the road, Russell Road in particular, that it has periodic, as you're driving down the road, it has periodic perpendicular creases in it. If you're riding down a highway, any highway, and you feel these dips in the road, you would say there's something wrong every so often. These creases in this road align almost perfectly with tree lines to the left and right of the road, where trees were planted in rows, then harvested to make room for this road. And I'm not so sure there's a settling issue in line with that tree line. So before those roads get paved, again, like Lim Edwards, the consideration that put them at the end of that list was not that they don't need to be done. It's just that there's an underlying issue that needs to be addressed before they're done. So that moved them down on that list. I just want to share that with you too. Is there any further comment or discussion? Would the board feel comfortable offering a motion to move forward with 1, 2, 6, whatever their number is? Or if you want to alter that list, that's fine. I just need to know where the board is on moving forward. And for those roads remaining, again, we'll come up with another list and prioritize it, have it ready to go to.
Well, Chairman, I'd like to, I guess from what I was saying earlier, if I can just put that into a motion, I'd like to see 1 through 10. Now, if that doesn't get a second, and everybody, the consensus is to go 1 through 9, like Commissioner Dosser said, I understand that as well. And as long as the commissioners are continue to do this priority list, these other roads will get taken in due time too, and they'll be taken care of in time before they fall apart and all that stuff. I really think we've done a good job. So I'd like to make a motion for 1 through 10. And if the commissioners, like I said, if there's not a second for that, we want to go 9. I just want to get it started.
So I have a motion for those roads listed in the priority I just gave you, 1 through 10. The total, approximate total cost on that is 1.8 million as it stands.
Okay.
For the total.
Thank you for that total.
Yeah. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Well, we're going in priority order and we haven't taken bids, so this is not a commitment to, this is a recommendation to the state, correct?
It is, as I understand it, and I'll stand corrected. They would bid, they would offer you a price or a cost on those roads. For that matter, they could offer it for the whole list.
Right.
But I'll share this with you, and if I'm out of order, or if I'm wrong, the jury can't unhear my remark. But what I do know is, I do know that a lot of the these companies, when they bid and they look at this, I will tell you, as they look at the types of projects you have listed here, one of the things that is of importance to us is that a number of these are very short roads, very short, which requires them to move their equipment from location to location. Some of them will, as you see on your information, they require milling and before they actually, put down the final surface on it. So their bid may or may not reflect a break-even point. In other words, if they're going to bid all of these, they may be expecting to get all of these. If it's a lesser amount, they probably would have a caveat that, if you're going to go with that amount or those number of roads listed, here's our price. But it is contingent upon that being the list that you commit to. So I would offer that just for consideration. It may or may not be the case, but I know in conversations with these in the past, they have considered that. So
We could bid each road separately if you choose, that it's probably just not gonna be received well. And then, in our current LMA, we bid all of the roads out, but the bids came in separately because of, their bond. They wanted it to be separate. But if we ask them to do all of them as one bid, most likely that's what will come back.
and I don't know if you heard the comment, and that's the reason I was going to repeat what she said. Last year, the winning bid, the winning contractor, the chosen contractor, actually provided a bond for each road that was bid. And it was primarily because of their ability to borrow or to secure the bond. And if they couldn't, for their purposes, they chose to do it individually. If that's the case in these, it may affect your bid. I cannot speak to that. I just don't know. But I would share with you, as with any contract, many contractors, regardless of the type of project, don't necessarily like to give you information unless they're really bidding on a project. And it could be the scope that influences them. Maybe they have other projects that they would or would not want to pull equipment off to do. But in its entirety, I'll take whatever motion and second and the board vote, and we'll work with that and we'll see what we get, if that's what you choose. So what I have on the floor right now is a motion and a second to approve. I've got the 1 through 10. Is that correct?
That was it for the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we could do is go out to bid for 1 through 9 and then have a separate bid for 10.
Well, what I was going to say, something very similar is looking, I think you said 1 through 9 was roughly 12 miles worth of road work.
12.41 miles.
So by adding 10, which is almost 4 miles, that's another 25% if that's a total, or another third. So I think if we were bidding this and there's an expectation to give the work to what we release, that may artificially put some extra, I don't say dollars, but that's a lot more work a contractor would expect to recoup their expenses off of.
Right.
And then to take that away, then that would be, if we couldn't afford it, then that may be kind of detrimental by cutting the project by 25%. So I think I would rather amend the motion, if Commissioner Allen's acceptable to that, to go back to the original recommended 1 through 9, and then we hold 10 or some other road if possible, if need be, for a positive change order, which I think may be more favorable to a contractor if we add work to them while they're continually mobilized here. So we might can get through 50% of the road and realize we hadn't had to eat up any contingency or anything. So we could add that in.
Yeah.
No, I've got no problem with that. If the board is comfortable with that 1.4 number, because going from 1.4 to 1.8 too, that is a big jump for us as well. And so, I'm totally fine with that. Like I said, the board has been very, very good at following this priority list, and I do believe that they'll continue to do that with the people coming in and the people we have here now. I do believe they'll continue to do that, and so I'm totally fine with amending my motion to go out for bid for 1 through 9. I guess is what we'd be, or approving the list for 1 through 9. I guess that would be suffice for your motion you're looking for.
Right, so the motion would to be approved, the prioritized list of those roads 1 through 9, total of the estimated cost is $1.423 million, 12.4 miles. And would you second
Yes.
that? And then Commissioner Doster has offered a second to that. So is there any discussion or any questions on that? Any comments relating to it?
I have a slow connection here, but and you may not can hear me, but I'm in agreement as long as we can maybe get some of those 4th district roads in the next LMIG. So I agree with the 1.9. I mean the first 9.
Right. Okay. And any subsequent decision on roads would be totally up to y'all.
We'll keep the list then.
That's right. The list will stay in place, and I'd love to help you out, but I'll read about it. How about that? And that's fine, though. I understand the motion, and I understand your request for consideration on those two. I got it. Any other comments on that?
I appreciate them too, putting it in order. And I'm a county first commissioner here too, so I trust the professional judgment.
And that's all that was ever entertained in this, I assure you. They ride these roads pretty regularly, and we take input from anybody want to ride them. We really do. So we want to make sure that if you haven't had the pleasure, just I don't want to beat this up anymore, go up to Timberlane. You'll feel good about your choice.
And y'all, I realize this is heavily District 2, and I appreciate you all being county first.
Well, roads deteriorate. Roads years ago were paved. Many were paved from dirt to paved surfaces, and a lot of them were paved from Danielsville out. And that was just that. It was an effort to start trying to connect. And so those that were paved first are failing first, and that's just reality. So, but I do hope that you continue to evaluate based on the need, and a lot of these districts will be represented. When you get around to Nice Commerce, just appreciate that's going to be $1 million, and it's one of the most highly traveled roads in the county, though. You're going to have to do it eventually. So I think that's I'm not going to say any more. I have a motion and a second then to move forward with bids for the 9 roads. And these 9 roads include Timberlane, Kellogg, West Kellogg, Swamp Guinea, Booger Hill, Bishop Carey, Old Ginn Road, Pine Valley Farm Road, and Forest Lane. The vote goes to Commissioner Kirk.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We have our work to do then. Thank you all for that. Our next item is to consider approving an updated speed zone ordinance. Each of you have that. Each year, the state asks us to approve those roads and their current speed limits. You have all of that. We had one, I'll highlight one request that was offered through the city of Hull for Glen Cary Road. On page 4 of the state's list, and I would remind everybody or just let you know that the sheriff has looked at these roads and this product and has approved or has agreed with all that are listed here. The speed limit currently, the approved speed limit on Glen Cary Road is 35 miles an hour. For a period of time, we had some 25-mile-an-hour speed limit signs out there. Those technically were never approved. The city of Hull has contacted our road department and has requested and has installed 35-mile-an-hour speed limit signs. And that is what's out there, and that's what's in this product. So I think everything is consistent. The state is just asking us to approve this list of roadways for Madison County. I'll open the floor up for a motion on that.
Yeah, motion to approve, Chairman.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. Any comment, discussion on any of that?
Chairman, you don't have anything, this is probably a shot in the dark, but do you have any kind of background on why Sanford Road and Seagraves Mill Road would be 50 when it seems like most of these county roads are 45 and below? And I've been trying to find some sort of history on it, and I got to get the sheriff over there on Sanford Road to patrol. We got wrecks happening over there. People go way too fast down that road. But I was just curious if you knew anything, or if maybe you could try to find out and let me know later about those two roads and how they got to be 50 miles an hour.
Rogers Mill used to be 55.
And to answer your question, I don't know. And you know, it was just mentioned that Rogers Mill used to be 55 too. So this is again, this is simply a conversation between the state and the county. So
Gotcha. Yeah, because like Nice Commerce, supposedly when they widened it, they were supposed to change the speed limit there, but they widened it by 2 feet, but they didn't change the speed limit. And this was before I think I was in high school, or right around then. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but it's hard to find info. You know, you got to go back through minutes and stuff like that. And so I was just curious if there's any way you could help me figure it out. So
I'll certainly ask questions and look into it. We have a very good relationship right now with DOT. So I feel very comfortable asking them anything. Don't mind at all. Okay.
Gotcha.
Item number 8, roads updates.
Wait, we need a,
Need a vote.
Oh, well, yeah,
Oh, yeah, we got to vote.
we should probably vote on that. Yeah. So I have
Sorry.
a motion by Commissioner Allen, second by Commissioner Strickland. We are to Commissioner Doster.
Yes.
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 Thank
Yes.
you all. Thank you for keeping me honest here. Okay. Roads updates. Anything from any of y'all on any road?
I'm sorry I keep taking everybody's time up tonight, but on Stapler Road, I was hoping to get an ETA maybe on the work down there. You know, you got that low spot we've been talking about down there, and don't need an answer tonight, obviously, but if you could look into that for me. And also, I forgot to say earlier in the LMIG, and this has to do with roads, so I'll put it in the roads update. These intersections, I know we've got a bad one over on 72, got one on 106. I'd send an email to everybody just to think about, you know, maybe using some money to help fix those roads. If we can get the state involved as well, there's got to be poles moved and all kinds of logistics kind of thing. And so I just wanted to put that on everybody's radar as well. And thanks for listening.
I agree. Hopefully I'll have a product to all of you that lists all of these roads that you're looking at for resurfacing, for any safety issues, for any May Courts roads, for any again, all of these addressed in a single product moving forward that you can take off the shelf, update for the next year or so. I'll continue working that. I do have soft copies, so I hope I'll have it to all of you. I will tell you, I drove today Old Wildcat Bridge Road. The bridge is complete. It is open. So the state is on to the next road, the next bridge rather. So according to their time schedule, that's going to be the, they have the 281 bridge, and then they have the one just south of Danielsville. So those two projects will be coming up next. Will there be any urgent matters before the board?
Is there going to be an interview process started for the rec department head?
There is. So,
Okay.
and I appreciate you mentioning that. So we have contacted several applicants. There were a total of 17. Actually, there are a total of 19 that applied. 2 of them came in late. And we have contacted a group that to come in for interview. And so I was going to send out, and I didn't have this information until this afternoon as far as the confirmation from those applicants that, first of all, they were still interested, still available, and they have agreed to interview. So the interview, I have one, and I'll like I said, I'll send out an email either this evening or first thing tomorrow for one applicant on Wednesday afternoon. It'll be Wednesday afternoon. And then we have at least 2 set up for Thursday. And again, we're trying to go with those people that, reasonably met the criteria. And I have heard some comments. I've got some feedback from those that have received the applicants or the application. So hopefully this week we will be interviewing people, and I will notify the board for those that want to participate. And if not, we'll make a recommendation to the board once those have been, once they've been vetted. Okay. Interest was really, really high on that position, so I was happy to see that. Anything else before we go to statements and remarks from our citizens here? All right, at that point, I'll open up the floor. We've got what appears to be 15 people on board here. So I'll open the floor for anybody that would like to speak on any matter, and I'd ask that you keep it to just a few minutes. And at the risk of offending anybody, just to remind you that this is your time to talk. It doesn't necessarily require exchange from the commissioners. So if there's anybody that would like to participate or speak, I'll open the floor at this point. Okay, folks. Are there any remarks or statements from any of the commissioners that they'd like to share with us at this point?
I'll share with my fellow commissioners and for those that are listening that I appreciate at the last meeting gave, I guess, some confidence for me to move forward with reaching out regarding a consultant for noise ordinance consideration, and that conversation is going on in the background. So as soon as we have something a little more affirmative, we can bring forward and share with the rest of the board. But that work's going on behind the scenes.
Okay.
Good to know.
Anybody else? Counselor, anything at all from you tonight? Executive
No, sir.
session?
No, sir.
folks, thank you all for attending. Thank you for participation. Appreciate everything. With that, I just need a motion to adjourn.
So
So move.
We are adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you very much.